Greetings, Cougar Nation. This is Mr. Chitty, Superintendent, reporting to you today from GCA North, and I'm in the office of Mr. Jackson, Dean of Family Care. Thanks, Mr. Jackson, for joining us today. And I want to say thank you to our families for your participation in our survey. We had a great participation, and we appreciate you sharing your questions and concerns. And we thought today what we would do is take a few of those questions that are being asked and circulated throughout our community and do our best to answer those directly to you today. So we're going to just jump right in with some questions, and we'll ask Mr. Jackson to facilitate that, and we'll move forward.
Well, let's start with the one everybody wants to know about, which is are there any updates on COVID policies?
Yeah, great question. So our goal, families, is to continue to find that balance between physical, spiritual, and mental health. And we know there's great challenges with doing all that well, and we are thankful that we're able to continue to go making masks optional at the school, and we are in ongoing conversations with the school board, local community leaders, and our administration to make sure that we're finding that right balance. So we'll keep you posted, continue to move forward as we ask the Lord to protect our school.
Okay, with the increase in enrollment this year, what are your thoughts on the growth of GCA?
Well, first of all, it's very, very exciting. What a great problem to have for our school to have this type of increase in enrollment, and so thankful that the facility arrangement that we made this year was already in place to welcome, and obviously God ordained that to have that prepared for us, and so we are thrilled and welcome to all the new families to GCA Nation. We're glad that you are here, and we're excited about having this opportunity to be able to present GCA to a larger group of families. We believe Johnson County is a community, an area that's desperately needing GCA to continue to grow and to be a difference maker in our community. So we are excited to have our families, and we're looking forward to additional growth and trying to find that balance with the facilities that we have, and also doing our best to keep class sizes small and meeting the needs and growing for God's glory. So overall excitement. There's obviously challenges associated with growth, but we're looking forward to meeting those challenges head on.
Do you have any concerns that the increased enrollment might lead GCA to compromise some of its biblical priorities?
Yeah, no, actually, we are thrilled with this opportunity to be able to meet the needs of a new group of families, and I'm under no mandate from the school board for a certain enrollment number. We are trying to do our best to provide this biblical worldview education to as many families as possible, but I can assure you, families, that we are not compromising our admissions standards. We are not compromising our worldview to accommodate a larger enrollment. We just think it's a wonderful opportunity and a true blessing from the Lord to be able to offer what we do to a greater group of families.
How does GCA approach some of the challenging issues that schools are facing today? Maybe students struggling with homosexuality. How does GCA approach that situation?
Yeah, so our desire as a Christian school is to continue to point our students and staff and families back to God's Word. And we would address, for example, as you mentioned, the homosexuality issue, like we would any other sin that God has identified in the Bible. And we deal with those types of issues head on. We call them what the Bible calls them, which is sin. And we partner with the home and the local churches to help students navigate those temptations and sin. And we certainly don't ignore those types of issues at our school. In fact, with God's Word and the freedoms we have as a Christian school, we're able to address those types of issues head on and from a biblical worldview.
We've heard a lot lately about school boards and decision making in schools. What's the role of the GCA school board in decision making?
Yeah, great question. I have just the person to answer that. Special guest joining us today for Chitty Check-In. This is Russ Van Til, school board president and longtime GCA parent. And we're glad that Russ is with us today to talk a little bit about the role of the school board here at Greenwood Christian Academy. And for you new parents, or for parents that have been at GCA for many years, we thought it might be helpful to ask Russ to join us today to tell us a little bit about the board's role on the day-to-day of what GCA does. Russ, tell us a little bit about the school board here at GCA.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mike. Hey, GCA family. Your school board is comprised of 7 dedicated men and women who are really committed to serving the best interests of the school, your children, and also protecting the mission and vision of GCA. So I want you to know we're constantly praying for you and your kids. We're also meeting frequently to address all the variety of issues that come up on a daily basis. It's our goal and intent as we seek God's wisdom as a board in what's best for the school is to always pursue what's in the best interest of you and your families.
Thanks, Russ. And we have a unique governance structure at our school, a bit different maybe than what public schools might have. But Russ, talk to a little bit about the effectiveness and what makes our school board unique.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, we transitioned to this governance model. It's a structure where the board implements some INS policies and guidelines, and then Mike and his team feel free to run wild and do what's in the best interest of the school within those guidelines and policies.
Yeah, so it's unique. And ACSI, the Association of Christian Schools International, has seen our model of governance and highly recommends and actually have mentioned that our school's model for leading and making decisions is really premier and really recommended, and want to use our model as an example for other Christian schools around the country. So we're honored by that recognition by the ACSI, and we want you to know that when we meet and we talk frequently about everything from curriculum to health practices and all the things that are happening in your world, I know that you may have some thoughts and ideas about how school boards run. Maybe you see that on the local news. But we want you to know we've got a great model here at GCA to continue to grow GCA, to protect the mission of what we do, and to move things forward. So thanks, Russ, on behalf of the administration and to the school board who serves so diligently on a volunteer basis to further our school's mission. We appreciate you and all that you do.
Thanks, Mike.
So how are decisions made about curriculum? Who's part of that decision-making process?
Yeah, unlike many schools, actually our decisions about curriculum and instruction really rest with the trained educators, superintendent, principals, director of curriculum and instruction, and our faculty. And we research well and lean on partners like the Association of Christian Schools International, ACSI, for that curriculum that meets the state standards that also has a biblical worldview approach. So it actually is a team approach to addressing those types of decisions.
Any update on facilities as we look to later this year or even next year?
Yes. Well, first of all, here soon, shortly after fall break, our desire is to release our plans for athletic fields here at GCA North so that our athletic teams can have a permanent home. So I'll be looking forward to that really soon, as well as some modifications to the gymnasium here at North. And then we're already in discussions about next year, expansions on both the North and South campus to not only meet the need of maybe an additional enrollment growth, but also just to better serve our current students and families. And again, finding that balance between having a full school of students, but also being able to keep those class sizes small and offering as many courses as we can to our students.
What if a parent has a question or concern? How should they proceed?
Well, our school is really an extension of the Christian home, and so our partnership with you as parents is a rich one that we want to continue to nurture, and we would encourage you to reach out to us directly with questions or concerns. And I would encourage you to find that teacher, find the principal, reach out to me. If you have questions for the school board, I would encourage you to email them at board@gcak12.org. And all of our staff, I believe the email address is first initial of their first name and then their last name at gcak12.org. We would love to be able to answer questions that we know that you have many and may have many in the future, and we want to be accessible to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly. Thanks again for your participation in the surveys, and our plan is moving forward to send surveys out every 9 weeks to solicit feedback from you and keep that communication line wide open. I want to thank Mr. Jackson for facilitating these questions today, and Mrs. Kirby, who's behind the camera, as well as Mr. Van Til and the school board for their support and prayers and all that they do for our school. And I would be remiss not to appreciate all of our faculty and staff, administration, and those teachers that are working so diligently each day to provide the best education possible for your students. And I want to wish everybody a happy fall break, just a few days away from that. And please be safe. We trust that it'll be a restful time for your family. And we look forward to connecting with you again with a Chitty check-in. And again, we thank so much for your feedback and for your support and prayers for GCA. Cougar Nation, have a great fall break.